Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Wieme, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up. Hey everybody, welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I am your host, Dr. Wieme, and today we get a chance to talk to my friend, my client, Meredith Wheeler. You guys are going to fall in love with Meredith because she is just literally a shining example of what it's like to be part of the Spiral Up tribe, right, girl? Like, we both love the Lord. We love serving other people. We love to make things pretty. We love to continue to grow, like all of the things. And so that's when we met, I just knew that we would know each other for a really long time. Thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. So for us to get a chance to talk about your journey just gets my heart full, because it's been really, really fun to watch you. And most importantly, just watch you shine by following God's lead.
Yeah.
And what I love is that you're so real, and that the same things that you struggle with are the same things that I've struggled with, the same things that so many people that I help struggle with. And it's been really fun to watch your journey to overcome some of that stuff. And so why don't we start out by just saying a little bit about your journey as a teacher? And not that long ago, really, you made the decision to start a business alongside your teaching career. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, wow, it's super exciting to think about this journey now, like being on this end of it and looking back. But, for 20 years of my life, I was a high school English teacher in Southern California. And I truly believe that was my calling. I love teaching. I love the high school age, believe it or not. Like, most people are like, oh gosh, sorry. I'm like, no, don't be. I love them most days. And I just love the being in the classroom and watching them grow and watching them learn and getting creative with lesson planning and all of that. Yeah. And so I always felt that I would be an English teacher till the end, it was a great career as a mom. I could always be home with my kids. And it just like filled my cup, and it always has, it always will fill my cup. But a couple of years ago, I would say it was about 2021, particularly right in the middle of COVID, quarantine, all of that, I just started feeling a really deep nudge. And of course, people could be like, well, education changed, you were online, it was tough. And it was. I am not every teacher in the world will tell you that was a tough time. Yeah. But it was far deeper than that. It started just as a little side voice, and then, just got like stronger and stronger. And it got to a point where I was like, I couldn't ignore it. Mm-hmm. I was like, what is this? And about a year prior to that, right in 2020, I had our youngest getting ready to go into college. She was a 2020 high school grad. And, it was the summertime where toilet paper was scarce. And I stumbled upon a little side hustle that I have fell in love with. And I love my jewelry business. Yeah. And that kind of got me into this mode of thinking, I like this business component. Like, I like doing this work too. And so, I had my teaching and I had this on the side that was thriving, and shockingly, unbeknownst to myself, I was quite good at it, I guess, and having a ton of fun with it. And it was the marriage of those two careers, I guess you could say, that I started to feel that deep nudge. And it was like a pull, it was a tug.
Yes.
It's tough when you're in a career you're like, well, I can't walk away from a career, you know, with benefits and salary and, you know, I've got all these kids in college and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So it just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And then finally, it got to the point where it's just, I felt that there was just a call for more,
Yeah.
and I made a decision.
Yeah, and that's, I think, where the two of us really hit it off right off the bat, right? Because as you know, I had a really successful career as a professor and a nurse anesthesiologist. And when I started my network marketing company back in 2016, I wasn't looking for anything. I
Yeah.
was a super shy introvert. Like I had never done anything in sales before. And I'm like, why in the heck would God like ask me to do this? But I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
And ledges got louder and louder. It's fine. Fine. Like if you want me to do this, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. And so then, I ended up, resigning from my dream job as a professor and going back into straight anesthesia so I could work my business more. And it was like, I felt like my life went from black and white to color, even though I already loved my job, even though I was really good at it, even though I went to school for 100 years to do what I did. Just like you, we loved it. We're good at it. And God introduced something to us out of left field that completely opened our eyes to what was possible.
Yes.
What I think. And then you and I both had really fast success. Things took off and it's like, this is really fun. And this is really fun to use different parts of our brain and to bring in extra income. And I believe that, it was that moment that you were in where business was good. You had a thriving jewelry business. It's amazing, by the way. Like I love the pieces that you sell. And you were still loving your teaching, but you felt like God was nudging you for more. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's weird because I loved all the things and I just felt I think what I felt was bigger reach. Like I felt like him saying like, yeah, you've got a great reach here. You access 200 high school students a year, you know, for 20 years. And then, you know, you have a lot of impact and influence, but I have more. Like there's just bigger reach to gain there. And it doesn't mean what I was feeling and what I believe strongly is it doesn't mean I have to stop teaching. It just felt like it was time to pivot and teach in a different way.
Yes.
And have an even bigger impact. And that's where I felt completely drawn because, you know, like you, Lachelle, like I feel, you know, we're here for a purpose and that is to be salt and light. So I'm like, okay, I'm listening. What does
Yes.
that look like? What does
Yeah.
that look like now?
And that's where, you reached out and you're like, because we've been chatting for a while and you reached out and you're like, Lachelle, like, I feel this nudge that God is calling me for more. And I was the same way. Like, I did make a difference in surgery, but if I did my job right, let's just be real. Like the people were never going to remember who I was. Not that it was about me, but it was just like, that was not the impact I wanted. And yes, I had my students, but I felt like God was asking me to make a bigger impact than what I was already making. And it's like, okay, I can't ignore that. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. But sometimes it's like, we don't know what that could look like. And you reach out to me, you're like, okay, I know that God is calling me for more. I feel it in my heart, but I just don't know what that looks like.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. I was so stuck in that, like, it was almost like paralysis where my feet just didn't move. And of course, I had seen you, been part of the Better Club, was just fully engaged and immersed in that amazing, beautiful community. And I was just like, I just need kind of someone who I feel connected to kind of look at this from a different angle. And yes, absolutely. Like, meeting you was just a godsend and working with you even more so because it's just opened up. Coincidentally, the t-shirt I have on under my jacket says, I am open to the possibilities. I mean, I might've planned it a little bit, but
well, like when you said that, can I just let everybody in the audience on our like little like fun inside joke because like that's the whole point of these podcasts, right? Is you guys get to learn stuff, but I also want you to understand like, us better. So Meredith was able to come on my last Becoming Experience retreat in Costa Rica. It was amazing. And she brought me this gift that is probably the one of the best gifts I've ever been given in my entire life, because of the meaning behind it. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. So, okay, he'll probably like hate me for saying this, but okay, my husband is a devout Dallas Cowboys fan. Okay, don't hate. But his man crush is Troy Aikman. Okay. So when I told him, that I had contracted Lachelle and I was going on this retreat, he's very understanding, very supportive. And he's like, yeah, I get it. I go, Lachelle's your Troy Aikman. Like, absolutely. Like, go for it. And I'm like, yeah. So I said to Lachelle, I'm like, you're my Troy Aikman. So that's the story behind this shirt. And
amazing shirt that says Team Troy. And I put it on, it's just like this reminder that my people are out there, right? Like we connect because we are on God's mission to use the talents and the passions that we have to make a bigger difference. And that sometimes the path that we're on, we think we're on this like perfect, prepared pathway, but God wants to veer us off into something even better if we're willing to trust him and we're willing to take the next aligned action with his lead. He will take us beyond anything we could have ever imagined. Anything we could have ever imagined. And can you not say that? Like, we had a great life before.
Yeah.
But now?
Yeah. No, and you're absolutely right. I will say, for anyone out there listening that, is in that space where they're like feeling that nudge, it's super scary. It's exciting. It does require like a lot of faith and trust. And the one thing I will say, and I think this is absolutely important to just sit in and be okay with, is one of the things that held me back for so long was the identity I felt I was in teaching. Like, I'm like, well, who am I if I'm not the high school English teacher? It was how I would identify myself. And I really had to allow God and with the help of Lachelle to hear a different story about myself. Like, I don't have to just be the high school English teacher. I can also be this business owner and a successful business owner and a person who just steps out and does things because I want to.
Yes, 100%. And like that really leads me to the revelation. I believe that I work with God to help you reveal to you what his paths are. Like, I'm just basically just another filter, right? And I remember you coming to me and you're like, Lachelle, I have all of these passions. Like, of course I am a teacher. Like, I'm a teacher at heart. That's my identity. And I love this jewelry, and I love the Lord, and I love, making things look nice, which is why I love the jewelry. And I love the personal development and, all these things. And you're like, how do I take all of that and make it into my life's purpose? And what was really cool is that through our work together, through a lot of prayer time, through listening to where he was leading us, we came up with the Proverbs 31 life.
Yeah. Which
encompasses all of that. So tell us what the Proverbs 31 life, like for people who are unfamiliar with that scripture, what is the Proverbs 31 woman?
Oh yeah, she's my ideal. She's everyone's ideal. She was designed to be an ideal, definitely to aspire to, not a real person, because we could all never fit into her shoes, right? But she was a woman who was not trapped or confined into a box, and she did it all, and she did it all well. And she was a wife, she cared for her family, she had her own business, she ran her own business, she invested, she cultivated, she did all of these things, and was loved and cherished by her family and the people who knew her. And I always, from the earliest days I can remember, falling in love with studying scripture. Like, I'm like, I love this one. Like, she's goals, #goals. Right. And so I realized, man, she can do it all. And this is, this is scripted in the good book. So like, why can't I? Like, and I feel like that was kind of the pull. Like, my husband, he always makes me laugh because I'll be like, I have an idea. And he's like, oh gosh, like I just constantly I want to do this. I think I want to do this. And then I go back to the Proverbs 31 woman because she generated those ideas and she made them happen.
Made them happen. Exactly. And that's the thing, like, you know that I incorporate things like human design in my
Mhm.
programs. So when we are able to leverage all of these different tools to understand ourselves better, we can actually figure out how we can live out our purpose with the alignment of who God made us to be. And you're a manifesting generator.
Yeah.
You are multi-passionate, and that's how you were made. Like, that's who you are at the core. And so it's like, why do we try to shove ourselves into a box when let's create the box that God has placed all of your stuff as a bigger whole? And that's what the Proverbs 31 life is. It's designed to help women be okay with their love, to have a relationship with the Lord. It's allowing women to want to be the best wife they can be, to
Mhm.
want to be the best mother they can be. It's to be able to have the business and fulfill that part of their life. And I can't remember the exact, line in that proverb, but it's like something about as beautiful as rubies, something I
It is
can't.
more precious than rubies. Yeah.
Yes, and like it's really cool how, you bring in that jewelry part of your business,
Mhm.
and the way that you just know that this woman had it all together. Like, she looked beautiful, she looked confident, she was able to handle everything. And that's what you help other women do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super exciting because um and under the Proverbs 31 life, I have faith, family, and philanthropy, which are my three pillars. And all of the things that God has placed on my heart that I love to do kind of fit into those categories. And obviously, like all of us we're here on this earth, we want to leave the most beautiful legacy we can, just in, by name and for our family. And I feel like, um, this endeavor is a way for me to help other women find the ways in which they can do that.
Yes, I
So,
just love that so much. And, since working together, you were able to find some clarity. You were able to discover, like, okay, wow, like I can actually encompass all of these parts of me into what it is that I do. And we're going to get into more detail as far as like how you actually help people in just a moment. But I want to just acknowledge this huge, huge, huge landmark in your life that you were able to accomplish in the last month, because since working together and since really getting clear around your next steps, you've decided to do something pretty damn brave. Why don't you tell us about that?
yeah. So on June 5th, I shut my classroom door for the last time. It was bittersweet in all the ways. I don't think it's really hit me yet because we're on summer vacation. So it just feels like summer vacation for a teacher. I think it'll hit me in August, but I did retire from my 20-year teaching career. But I walk out of there with so many skills and memories, and everything, and who I am right now was a result of every day in that classroom. And I always think, like, what if those 20 years of being a teacher, which any teacher will tell you, like, it's so much work, right? Like, but I'm like, what if that was just preparation for the next thing? Like, what if that was just the prep work for the
Right.
Proverbs 31 life,
Yes.
And so I made the bold move. I really wanted the time freedom to be able to spend with my husband. And, most people who know me know that we split time between Alaska and California, and now I have it. And it's thrilling to wake up and, start my day doing all of these things that
Right.
are exciting to me and thrilling to me. And yeah.
I know it's just like, probably hasn't hit you fully yet until fall, right? But it's like, oh my gosh, I did this. And I think that just like going back to your journey and my journey of when we started our businesses to begin with, right? It seemed scary. It seemed out of character. And God kept whispering, and then it got louder and louder. And I remember like walking along this journey with you over the last several months where he was shouting at you especially when, your husband got sick and he was in Alaska and you were in California, and it's like, I cannot continue to do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, he's taking that, and really trying to help get your attention, but you still needed to learn how to trust your own discernment.
Yeah.
And that's where some of the skills that I've taught you, as far as the expansiveness and restrictiveness and the muscle testing and some of those things, to just give you the confidence to be like, yes, Lord, I hear you. I trust that I hear you correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I trust my decision to make this next step, even though I'm scared, because I know that you're the one behind this move. And
Yeah.
that is something that I just absolutely love to watch you continue to trust your own self.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also too, I have to tell your audience also, like, your words, like, the solution is already there. Like, I say that to myself every day. Like, okay, how's this going to work out? Well, the solution's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just have to find it. So now I feel like I'm Encyclopedia Brown every day. Like, like, the solution's right around here somewhere. Like, what is it?
Yes. And that was one of the things that, for you guys that maybe have not heard me talk about this, I'm just going to, give you this little tiny insight that when we are in a space of fear or worry, despair, we are literally, our body, our electrons are vibrating at a very low, slow frequency, and our frequency is down. And whenever we're stuck in problem solving, we are literally just realigning ourselves with that problem energetically. Our frequency is at that same frequency of the problem. Just like, and I'm going to hold up this book, right? So just like my book here has a front and a back, it has a title page and a back page. They both exist at the same time. Even though I'm looking at my front, the back still exists.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Meredith is talking about, is that when you can get yourself to raise your vibration to a point where you are in vibration with the solution, with the front of the book instead of the back of the book, it already exists at the same time. It's just at a different energetic plane. Yeah. When you can identify yourself with a higher frequency, the solution is just going to pop into your sphere of influence. And I feel like that has to be a segue to this, because I want people to understand that, we might have some people listening right now, Meredith, that are like, oh my God, I would love to be able to quit my job to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And just like me, just like you, we oftentimes can put ourselves into an all or nothing, black or white box of it has to be this way or this way.
Yep.
Right. And you and I both were stuck there for a while, in a sense of like, I want to do this, but it doesn't look exactly this way, so I can't yet. Right.
Yeah.
What I think is really cool is that both of us were able to get ourselves into this frequency of being okay with the solution. The solution already exists. And when we get into ourselves into that frequency, we can literally say, well, if it was easy, what would happen? And when we're in that frequency, the easy just shows up. So I started to pick up some travel anesthesia shifts at a small hospital that really needed help. I made 3 times as much money in a week helping them out than I did in a month at my old job. You are embarking upon some really amazing creative ways to consult on a way that you're still leveraging the same information that you have, but on your terms in a different way.
Yep.
Like, I think about my cousin Ryan, who was with an IT company, and he ended up quitting and then consulted to them for $300 an hour. Like, he made more than his salary on his terms. And I want you guys to understand that if you can keep yourself in a higher vibration, if you can allow yourself to trust that the answer is already there, and then start to learn how to trust your discernment when you see these things, and you pray about it and you say, okay, is this where you want me to go? Yes. Okay. And then you just trust the next step is going to present itself. We never either one of us ever had envisioned a different solution, had we?
No. And that trust, and I love what you said too, and I'll just take it one step further.
Yeah.
But stepping into it without like just doing it is another component that you have taught me, like, just feet in motion, like just start going. So to your point, a solution for a problem. Well, like, how can I still support my English teacher colleagues whom I love? And I really still do love working the back ends of education. Long story short, I'm like, oh, I can just be a consultant. Boom, step into it, write a proposal, pitch it. And here we are with contracted jobs. You know what I mean? So it's, the solution was there. It was just like being able to see it and listen, trust, and do. And
take inspired action.
yeah,
Take inspired action, because you can't sit and analyze forever. You're not going to get to where you want to go. And clarity comes from action, doesn't it? So
absolutely.
This like nugget of clarity from God, you learn to trust your own discernment. You learn to take the next step in courage, and then whoosh, the next step just reveals itself, doesn't it?
It does. It's a scary faith jump, but it's so worth it, because God's promises are true. He never leaves us in that desert. So it's just like, it's there. The solution is there.
Absolutely. And that's why it's been like my calling to walk alongside people, so that like I get to be a representation of that help in human form next to them, as you're like locking arms and walking alongside of you on those scary moments. And it's just so much fun. So when we talk about the Proverbs 31 life, I want to give the audience a glimpse of like what that is looking like in the future, because you have some really exciting things that you have wrapped up into all of that. Tell us a little bit about the next steps for you. And I know that the Lord is going to continue to reveal bigger and better and more, beautiful steps to come. But I know that there's a really exciting part that you are starting to work on that I want to like people know that it's out there.
Yeah. So yes, the Proverbs 31 life is still in its evolution phase. Like it's still continuing to morph.
Yes.
But in addition to, starting some educational consulting, I also am feeling very called and led to again, as I mentioned earlier, like teaching is still the spiritual gift that God has placed within me. And I love it. It's just looking different. And I love working alongside women. I love helping women feel empowered and beautiful. And I want them to feel like that every day, so that they can seek, find, and pursue their passions as well. Like, again, we've got big impact to make here, and our lives are really just a blip. Yeah. So I have always found this love for styling, fashion. I've got my jewelry business, of course, which pairs nicely with that passion. Yes. But it's really about just how I'm describing it is, okay, if you're like me, you're in that next phase of life, right? Where like we just spent 20 minutes talking about how I've, spent all these years really figuring out who I am. Like, okay, this is me. Like, yes, I am a teacher. I identify with being a teacher, but I'm so much more than that. And I've got these talents and gifts, and I'm going to use them. Yes. And so I'm like, I have arrived. Here I am. But the physical part of me is still living in the 30s, right? Like the gray hairs are coming in, the wrinkles, you can't stop these things. There's saggy spots, all that stuff. Yeah. And so where I come in is how to help women take that. I'm in this phase of life where I know who I am now. Like I am finally feeling like who I am. The kids are gone, I've done the thing. But my physical, like I don't feel like myself anymore here. Like, how do I get this to stop? How do, so what I want to do through styling, and what I am enjoying pursuing to do through styling, is making those two pieces marry. So it's not about anything like name brand. It's not about that. It's about, how do you feel like the best? How do you feel like that person who you are on the inside now that age is taking a toll?
Like I think anybody that has gotten into our 40s and beyond, we're like, we have the wisdom and the self-assuredness that we've never had in our 30s or 20s, right? And so it's like we've come to this place of sage confidence inside. How do I get my outside to match that? Because how do I get my outside to catch up with that? And I mean, let's just be real. Like as a woman in my 40s, it's like, okay, Lachelle, going into Forever 21, is probably like on its way out. Like, let's just be real. But I'm not ready for Christopher and Banks yet either. So,
You can find cute stuff at both stores, like,
but it's just like, where do I fit is my point, right?
no,
Where do I fit? And I think that women, we want to feel young and vibrant, but also we don't want to like feel like, oh, mom, that's not for you. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
That's what, you're helping us evolve into the next season of our life and to feel as confident on the outside as we do on the inside. And one of the things that I have found with my clients, Meredith, which is why I'm so excited that you're doing what you're doing, is that sometimes the way that we feel like we look on the outside holds us back from stepping into our true calling.
Absolutely.
I have clients who are like, oh, I'm afraid to do lives because I'm not confident the way I look on video, or I would love to speak on stages, but I need to lose 40 pounds first.
Mhm.
How about instead of, waiting, how about we just find a way to complement our body frame with color and style of clothing, and so that we can feel confident and not have to get ready. Like, let's start showing up on video. Let's start getting on stages. Let's start wanting to go to networking events because we feel sexy and we feel pretty, so that we show up confidently. Like, let's stop getting ready to get ready.
Absolutely. And that's where my passion resides, in that you nailed it exactly. And it's just, I know for myself,
Yeah.
the days that I get up and get ready and I have on a t-shirt with just a sport jacket and my jewelry, like, I'm ready to just knock stuff
You
out.
look freaking adorable today.
Thank you. But, yesterday I was hair in a bun and whatever, and I still got stuff done, but it's just a total, I don't know how to describe it.
Oh, I totally.
At some point,
Yes.
like when you put on the outfit that makes you feel good, you're like, oh, okay, like I'm ready to get stuff done. So but how do we do that on the daily and know that who we are on the inside and who God made us to be and how he sees us is radiated on the outside.
100%. So you ladies who are like, oh my gosh, I have a photo shoot coming up, or I've been avoiding a branded photo shoot because I don't know what to wear, like, reach out to Meredith. Okay. Like, there's so many things that you help people with. And I want to wrap up our conversation, Meredith, with, some advice for the woman out there who is like, oh my gosh, like, I would love to be more like the Proverbs 31 woman. I would love to know what the Proverbs 31 life could look like, because I feel like I'm dropping balls. Like, how do you do it all? What would be some of your favorite tips to give somebody who is like, I want that?
You can have that. It doesn't have to be perfect. And my number one tip is listen to the nudge. Like, those nudges are downloads, right? Like, those are the things that we're being, like, they're there for a reason. Like, and so there's purpose behind that. So does it have to be perfect? No, but listen to it and don't ignore the things that you want to do. Do they all have to get done tomorrow? No, but journal them, write those things down and circle back to them. And in the perfect time, an opportunity will present itself. So don't ignore all of the things. I would say a second big tip is find a mentor or coach, like I did, because I'm telling you, it's so easy to get stuck in your own head and to get trapped and just immobile, because fear is such a powerful thing. And I wrestle with fear still every single day. It's a mental game that I have to play with myself to remind myself daily, to keep myself in high vibration, and to have a mentor or coach that is guiding you, instilling you with all of the things you need to know and how to do that is instrumental. Especially if you're really truly considering taking a big leap of something like retirement or switching careers or something like that. If you can all do it, I would say do it. And then don't hesitate. And I say that because life really is just too short. And as Lachelle alluded to earlier, one of the reasons I did decide to retire, I was going to go one more year. Ultimately, that was the plan between the hubby and I. And he got super sick in December. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, like God is telling me you have big impact to make and I'm going to take you there. So what are you waiting for? Like, this was a beautiful packaged 20-year gift. Enjoy it, walk away with it and treasure it. But now open the new present. It is the present. Just go and try it. So I know it's easier said than done, but truly with a good mentor or coach, like, you have everything you need. As Lachelle always tells me, you already have it within you. So just trust it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Thank you for those tips. I cannot tell you just how proud I am to be your coach, to be your friend, to watch you continue to thrive and to show the world what's possible. Like, thank you for being a part of my life.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Hey, Team Troy all the way.
That's Team Troy, baby. All right, you guys. So if you are feeling like, Lachelle, I want to figure all of that out, but I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how I'm going to make it all work. I feel like I'm already burning the candle at both ends and I get in my own head. I overthink. I'm tired, but I know God is calling me for more. I want to invite you to go into the show notes and register for my masterclass that is going to help you unlock all of the things that are holding you back as far as overthinking and burnout to help you create a sustainable 10K a month income. So don't miss that opportunity. Meredith, thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. And you guys, I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye, everybody. So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to iam-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, plug into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.